To another Chats with Chaudhry. I hope you're safe and well and had a great start to 2026. Today, I'm delighted to continue my Reflection and Forecast 2025-2026 interview series, where I look back on the past year and look ahead to this year with various experts and C-suite across the life science value chain. And today, I'm delighted to be joined by Alaric Desmarchelier, who is the Peptide BDM specialist from Almac Sciences. So we're going to learn more about how the year's been for Almac Sciences and all look and get some forecasts for them in terms of some of the trends you can expect to see. So Alaric, first of all, it's good to see you. How are you?
Hi, everyone. Thank you. I'm very good. Happy New Year. I suppose we can still say that in January.
Yes, happy New Year to you too. I hope you've had a good start so far. Now, as I said, we're going to look back on the year, but before we do anything, for people not familiar with Almac Sciences and Almac Group, because you are part of Almac Group, perhaps you give viewers a quick overview of the group and then Almac Sciences specifically and about your role.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. So Almac Group as a whole is a privately owned company based in Northern Ireland, but we have businesses and offices all over the world, mostly in the UK and the US and Asia Pacific. We are a CDMO that deals with many different aspects of the drug product life cycle. So AlmacSciences, my branch, is the API manufacturing branch, but we also do drug products, we do clinical packaging and distribution, diagnostic services, and a myriad of other supporting services to that.
Fantastic. Right. And your role?
So I am a business development manager, but by training, I'm a chemist. I used to be a process development chemist in the team. I'd like to consider that I still am, so to speak. I'm now in the business development team. I've been there for quite a few years now, representing our peptide specialty. I have a global coverage, and I work together with my regional colleagues, specifically on the peptides.
Brilliant. Well, look, how would you describe 2025 in one word?
Challenging, I would say.
Right. And why would you say
Um,
that?
well, good and bad challenging, as in good and challenging, challenging. I suppose, well, we can't ignore the elephant in the room. There was quite a lot of geopolitical turmoil, and that impacted our business in terms of uncertainty with tariffs and things like that. Also challenging for us from a business perspective because of a lot of different things happening in the world. Our clients take more time to make decisions, so it takes a different style of planning than quite a few years ago, I would say. We also have a new facility online, so that was there's always a little bit of teething problems to get online, but now we're cruising. So yeah, lots of good and more challenging challenges, I would say, if you
Right.
can say
Well,
that.
let's talk about, you mentioned the new facility. Let's talk about 2025 in terms of some of the highlights of Almac Sciences. So, what are some of the highlights you'd like to share with viewers?
Well, I suppose we've been steadily growing as a company, so that's always great. And part of that was this expansion, so which was in the making for quite a few years now. But
Sure.
the peptide team was the lucky one to get their facility first. So we've been online for quite a few months now and producing materials there and now fully operational, which gave us the opportunity to do more of the same. So scale out as well as scale up a little bit. And now it's the focus is on the small molecule facility, which is coming online as well, hopefully very soon. So the guys are working on kitting that part of the plant out.
Right. Okay. Now, if we look at the market specifically, particularly the peptide market, perhaps, and your customers there, you mentioned some of the challenges earlier on when we talked about what word you described, but what have been sort of the common issues or problems that they've been coming to you in the last 12 months?
Well, in the peptide field specifically, because it's the specialty I represent. I think the GLP-1 derivatives are still very strong, but there's a lot of competition now in that field. So we see a lot of different projects popping up on that space. Radiopharmaceuticals has been a booming field, especially for peptide precursors. We're uniquely positioned for that because we have a lot of experience in that field. We have commercial products in that field as well that we
Right.
support, and we are also experts in those smaller and medium scales as well, and quirky chemistries because we do both small molecules and peptides in the company. So it's been a very good area for us. Very challenging as well because people come up with very very strange structures sometimes in these molecules. So I think interesting science coming out, more and more complex molecules. I think people are gaining confidence in the peptide world that we can do
Right.
very complicated molecules.
Right. Okay. And in terms of trends and new developments you saw last year, what do you see in 2020? What did you see in 2025 that impacted the business?
Hmm. Um, I would say the focus on more sustainable chemistries, both in small molecules, but especially in peptides, which is not known to be a very green process in general, has been growing. So lots of not just us as a manufacturer, but our clients are also
Yeah.
demanding now that we have strategies in place. We look at how to manufacture peptides differently, and it's quite an interesting challenge because as they say, no plant survives contact with the enemy or with the combat. So when you actually are in the process, sometimes those ideal green solutions don't work as well on an industrial process as they work in a lab. So it's quite an interesting world for our chemists, but we like a challenge at Almac, so we've been working on those green alternatives a lot.
Right. And Alistair and I had this conversation last year. We talked about the impact of AI and machine learning. So, how much of an impact in the last 12 months has that had in terms of the work you do and also the expectations from customers as well?
I think it's a very important tool, and it's become very mainstream as well. I think we are also learning how to use it properly now, as a species, as humanity, right? In at Almac, for example, we've rolled it out over the past 12 months, and we use it a lot for to make our everyday life easier. And now we're using it more and more as well to help our scientific like planning and data analysis. Obviously, you always have to have humans behind it, both from an ethical, regulatory point of view, but also because we bring a different view than machine learning. But it is extremely important to have those tools. We see it more and more with clients as well. We are one of our specialties is personalized cancer vaccines, and there every single patient gets, I don't know, 20, 30 different peptides, which have to be predicted, triaged beforehand, and it's becoming a more and more AI-driven world from the client's perspective. So they give us more and more curated targets to work on, which also means that we have less room to not be able to deliver them. The good news is that we usually deliver them very well. But yeah, it's a changing world both for how the clients design their molecules and then how we manage them as well as a process.
Fantastic. All right. That's interesting. And before we move on to 2026, so looking back on 2025, is there anything else you'd like to share with the viewers about how the year went for Almac or anything you'd like to highlight?
But for us, it went very well. I mean, it was a challenging year, as we said. I think this this shift in the world where we saw that both sponsors, but also the financing system behind them. So VCs, banks, funding agencies have taken much more time to make decisions. This has obviously been a challenge to navigate because obviously you want to be busy all the time. But at the same time, we've also seen more and more ventures, into new modalities, new ways of making molecules. So very interesting time to be alive, I would say.
That's right.
Certainly from a
Okay.
scientific point of view. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, let's look ahead to 2026 then. Um, so are you a glass half full or half empty sort of man? So how do you think 2026 is going to go? I mean, I know there's a lot of changes going on already in January, but looking ahead to 2026, how positive are you for the year?
I'm quite positive. Yeah, I'm usually the kind of person who says hope for the best but plan for the worst. But I think so far so good. So we've been quite busy. We've seen, as we said, a lot of interest in some not so niche areas anymore. We that match really well our specialty and our know-how. So for us, it's extremely exciting. I think my colleague mentioned it last year as well, but we can still see steadily that boom or growth back into the personalized cancer vaccine space, which was dominated by mRNA for quite a few years after COVID. But peptide modalities are here to stay, I think, and we see a lot of interest in that field. So busy, I think. I hope, but I think it will be a very busy year in terms of new projects, new challenges, and hopefully more of the same as well.
Right. So in terms of trends, you just mentioned a little bit about the cancer uh, treatments. So what trends do you expect to see in 2026?
I think specifically for the peptide world, I think oncology is still a very strong application of that modality because peptides are the sweet spot between small molecules, which are very difficult to design to be target specific, and antibodies, which are sometimes too target specific, also spend too much time in the body sometimes. Not to bash them, they're very good modalities for certain applications. But for example, in radiopharmaceuticals, they tend to linger around too long in the body. So
Right.
people are moving towards peptides, which for us is obviously very, very interesting. Um, I think the personalized space or variations thereof are also here to stay, like immuno-oncology, because designing drugs that either help your immune system to attack your tumors or help your immune system support existing chemotherapy can be very powerful strategies. So I think these fields are here to grow. Obviously, the GLP-1 derivatives are still a booming field, and I see their applications more and more in non-diabetes or non-weight loss modalities. So similar molecules or similar strategies to develop the molecules, but other applications, um, probably using the same biological mechanisms. I'm not a biologist, but that's my hunch. And
Right.
so I think the existing things will be evolving into more and more technical and more like precise developments of themselves.
Right. Okay. One question I want to ask, you've got a global role, obviously. So, um, have you seen a shift in, because obviously North America, for example, US, for example, there's a lot more onshoring going on now, and everything to avoid the tariffs, everyone has to be manufacturing in the US if they can. So, I mean, I forgive my ignorance, but do Almac have facilities in the US?
Yes, well, yes and no. Yes, we do have facilities in the US, but they're more focused on our drug product side of the business and
Right.
clinical packaging side of the business. And for example, clinical packaging can be impacted because materials come from all over the world. So we have task forces in place to navigate these uncertain times. Many applications of, not all, but many applications of medicines have been exempt of tariffs for certain regions.
Right.
And we are a little bit unique in the fact that we're headquartered in Northern Ireland, so we're both in the UK and in the EU from a customs purpose. And so far, we've not seen a major impact for our API branch, at least, to ship material to the US. It just needs a little bit of planning, but so far there are exemptions in place that help medicines because they're recognized as essential. Hopefully, here to stay. These exemptions. Um, but yes, we've seen a little bit of shift, I think, in that the American market specifically takes a bit more time to decide. They used to be the guys who decide very quickly, um, and we see, I think, at least I see a shift in the decision time. I haven't seen people shying away from European CDMOs yet because of that. On the contrary, we're probably because we're outside of that world, we might be seen as more stable or more resilient. Certainly, we are not a shareholder-owned company, so we're less impacted to the market by the market fluctuations, which is a big advantage for us.
Great. Now, what can we expect to see though from Almac Sciences in 2026? What exciting developments that you can share? Because I appreciate there'll be things you can't talk about at the moment, but what can we expect to see from Almac Sciences in 2026?
Well, yes, obviously there are some developments that we're not allowed to speak about yet, just because they're still in the making. But as we said, so we're now cruising with our peptide facility, so we're already planning our next steps. For the small molecule team, they will be in the spotlights this year to get their new facility up and running, so to get much more capacity. Um, We have very strong technologies teams at Almac, both in flow chemistry and biocatalysis. So we're trying to work together more and more on the peptide side of the business as well. They already support our small molecules brilliantly because these new technologies are really they bring a lot of added value to these processes, so both from a grain chemistry side of things, but also from efficiency point of views. I hope I can say watch the space, and
And
hopefully we will have a couple more commercial launches as well this year, which were in the making for quite a few years. So and the peptides team as well. So again, watch the space. I can't talk much more about it just yet, but we have a few clients reaching commercial launch, so that's a very exciting time for us every time.
brilliant. Well, look, it sounds like exciting times and a good start to the year and exciting things ahead. So that's fantastic. So, final question for you. Have you got any message for the viewers from Almac Sciences and what they should look out for this year?
Ooh. Well, look out for me because I will be at a lot of events. I was just looking in my calendar. Very happy to discuss whatever they would be very interested in. I think what we like to say about ourselves is that we never say no to a project until we've seen it. We like a challenge, and this is usually why people come to see us as well when they have something very challenging that others might not want to do. We're very keen to discuss those. We also like a simple project, to be very honest. So
Yeah, of course.
no, we're
Brilliant.
we're we're here, we're strong, and I think it will be a very exciting year for us.
Brilliant. Well, look, Aaron, it's lovely to see you. It's great to hear what's been happening with Almec Sciences. I wish you lots of success for 2026 and onwards. So, viewers, there you go. If you'd like to learn more about Almec Sciences, check the link out below the video. But also, if you've got any questions for Alaric based on what he said today, on whether you agree or disagree on some of the trends as well, feel free to put them in the comments below. And you can follow Almec Sciences on LinkedIn, on their website. And obviously, as Eric said, there are many events across Europe, North America, and the rest of the world. So you can meet the team at those events as well. So, Eric, it's lovely to see you. Enjoy the rest of what's left of this month, which is not
Thank
long,
you.
and have a fantastic 2026. And viewers, thank you for watching. And until next time, as always, stay well and stay safe. Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.